You get a raise and tell your family at dinner. The table pauses just long enough to feel strange. Someone laughs and says, "You can cover holidays now." Your sibling asks about a small loan like it is already approved. Your partner starts browsing bigger apartments that night. Nobody argues, nobody pressures you directly, but you feel repositioned. After the dinner, nothing explodes, no one demands anything openly, but the tone around you shifts in subtle ways. Jokes land with a sharper edge, assumptions arrive fully formed. People speak about your money as shared potential. The raise did not only change your income, it changed your position in the room. Financial growth sends a signal before you say a word. The signal tells others your margin expanded. They respond by widening expectations. Plans stretch past your comfort. Group costs lean toward you. Family conversations place your name near responsibility. This is not about greed, it is recalibration. Humans track resources instinctively. When one member rises, the map updates. Your capacity becomes communal math. The pressure is quiet but constant. You feel it in pauses before bills are split. You feel it when someone says, "You will be fine." The room has decided you can absorb more. That decision shapes your behavior. You scan for new demands. You measure interactions for hidden cost. Income becomes exposure. This recalculation does not feel new. It feels familiar in a way you cannot explain. Many people learned early that money shifts power inside a room. Maybe one parent earned more and controlled the tone. Maybe the person paying decided what was allowed. You watched how income changed who spoke last. You learned that money meant leverage. You also learned it meant obligation. If someone paid, they were owed respect. If someone earned more, they carried more weight. As a child, you tracked these shifts silently. You noticed tension when bills were tight. You noticed relief when extra cash appeared. You felt how quickly gratitude turned into expectation. That imprint stays. When your income rises now, your nervous system recalls those maps. It expects hierarchy to follow money. It expects closeness to become conditional. You may not remember the lesson clearly, your body does. In some homes, money created silence. In others, it created conflict. In many, it created guilt. A child who saw struggle often made a private promise: never become the one who makes others feel small. Never become the one who withholds. So when you earn more, an old alarm activates. If I rise, someone else lowers. If I have more, someone else lacks. This belief runs under the surface. It shapes how visible you allow success to be. You might shrink achievements before others react. You might offer to pay quickly to prevent tension. You might apologize for doing well. None of this feels dramatic. It feels responsible. But the responsibility is inherited. The room recalibrates you now. Your childhood already rehearsed it. When income rises, your nervous system does not celebrate first. It evaluates threat. More visibility means more exposure. More exposure means more demand. The body reads expectation as pressure. Pressure feels like risk. Your system prefers predictable rank. Sudden upward movement disrupts stability. Even positive change can trigger stress. The brain scans for what might be taken. It anticipates loss before gain. This is survival wiring. Loss aversion lives in the body. Gaining money increases what could disappear. It also increases what others might access. Your system prepares to defend. That defense can look like shrinking. It can look like downplaying wins. It can look like avoiding new tiers. Safety matters more than expansion. If rising means friction, your body may slow you down. If earning more invites scrutiny, your system may limit visibility. The reaction is subtle but powerful. You might feel tired after good news. You might delay sharing promotions. You might spend quickly to reduce surplus. Surplus attracts attention. Attention attracts pressure. The nervous system tracks this pattern fast. It links higher income with higher relational cost. So it searches for equilibrium. Sometimes equilibrium means returning to a familiar level. The body prefers known stress over unknown status. That preference shapes your ceiling before logic enters the room. Over time, the tension stops feeling external. It becomes internal conflict. Part of you wants to rise without restraint. The other part feels disloyal for trying. Income changes more than lifestyle. It challenges who you are allowed to be. If your family bonded through shared struggle, success can feel like exit. If your friends measure equality through sameness, higher earnings disrupt balance. You ask silent questions. Who am I if I no longer match the group? Who loses access if I move further ahead? Identity is built inside a tribe. Money redraws boundary lines. When you earn more, you risk outgrowing roles. The dependable one becomes the provider. The equal friend becomes the resource. The humble child becomes the visible achiever. These shifts carry cost. You may fear being seen as arrogant. You may fear being responsible for others. Both threaten belonging. So you split. One side pushes for growth, the other pulls toward loyalty. Loyalty often wins. It feels safer to cap yourself than trigger distance. This conflict rarely reaches language. It shows up in daily choices. You hesitate before negotiating. You soften numbers when you speak. You frame wins as luck instead of skill. This protects connection. It stabilizes your old identity. The ceiling becomes relational, not financial. Staying within range keeps you included. Exceeding it risks subtle exile. The fear is quiet but persistent. Rise too far and you stand alone. Under this conflict, mechanisms lock into place. Loss aversion sharpens decisions. The more you earn, the more you fear losing ground. Higher income increases perceived downside. You imagine falling from a greater height. Risk feels heavier than before. Present bias tightens its grip. Short-term relief wins over long-term expansion. You choose stability to avoid friction. You choose relatability over elevation. Guilt loops form quietly. If others struggle, your comfort can feel excessive. You compare your ease to their tension. The contrast produces shame. Shame demands correction. Correction can mean overgiving. It can mean undercharging. It can mean avoiding full visibility. Money dysmorphia distorts perception. You may earn more than peers, yet still feel behind. Old scarcity memories override current numbers. Your internal gauge stays anchored to past instability, so no amount feels secure. Identity-based income ceilings solidify. You develop an unconscious number that feels acceptable. Crossing it triggers discomfort. Discomfort nudges behavior back into range. You delay growth without noticing. You sabotage negotiations subtly. These mechanisms work together. They protect belonging at the cost of expansion. They maintain relational equilibrium. Others sense hesitation. They sense willingness to absorb pressure. So the system stabilizes around your restraint. Eventually, the recalculation lives inside you. You walk into rooms already adjusting posture. You pre-edit numbers before anyone reacts. You measure growth against potential tension. The room does not need to pressure you anymore. You anticipate the shift yourself. This is the quiet cost of earning more. Your income rises, but your internal permission does not. You become the one who contains expansion. You call it balance. You call it maturity. Underneath is fear of destabilizing the room. Every raise carries a second question. Not, can I earn this? Can I survive the recalculation that follows? Because the higher you move, the more visible you become. The more visible you become, the more hierarchy adjusts. At some level, you already know this. The room will always update. Expectations will always expand. Pressure will look for the strongest beam. So the real tension isn't money. It's whether you are willing to let your position change, whether you can tolerate being re-ranked, whether you can stand the silence when others reassess you. Because once people recalculate you upward, they never return you to who you were.